Good evening and welcome. On behalf of the Jefferson County Growth Association and Jefferson College, welcome to our second of two legislative forums. My name is Ray Comiskey, president of Jefferson College and moderator for tonight's event. I'm pleased to see so many folks in our hall tonight. We're coming to you from the beautiful campus of Jefferson College, and in addition to our live audience, you can hear us over KJF Radio or watch us live on JCTV. Tonight's event will also be available via the web over at JCTV website. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment and do some recognitions. First of all, I want to recognize our sponsors. You'll see their banners throughout. Of course, KJF Radio, Govero Land Services, Comtree, Lane Consolidated Services, Home Service Oil, Custom Insurance Services, Kevin's Car Care, and Mercy Hospital. Jefferson County Growth Association, if you like what you see and hear tonight, we're all about community development. So we encourage you to consider joining our organization if you're not already a member and find out more about what we do, including our One Plan, One Voice, which I'll mention later in tonight's broadcast. Well, some additional recognitions. First of all, we want to thank the candidates. First, we want to thank you for participating tonight. This is an important part of the democratic process to get your message out to the voters and be heard. And second of all, we want to thank you in general for putting yourself out there to make Jefferson County, the state of Missouri, and the United States a better place to live. So let's give them a round of applause. The Jefferson County Growth Association is a broad community of citizens taking ownership of the county to unite in success for financial stability and economic prosperity. Our mission is to provide coordination of professional leadership to promote and support new and existing growth throughout Jefferson County. While JCGA does not directly endorse specific candidates or parties, the organization does support the legislative process by providing public events such as these candidate forums. The purpose of these forums is to provide an opportunity to hear Democrat and Republican candidates address issues facing Jefferson County. Our format tonight. We are largely focusing on state and national offices with a few county offices thrown in for good measure. Candidates will each have 7 minutes to explain who they are and what they will do if elected. If a candidate is represented by a representative, that individual will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. While no questions will be taken during our event tonight, candidates are encouraged to stay after the forum to talk with audience members. So at this time, I would like to ask the candidates for the circuit clerk, Mike Reuter and Jeanette McKee, to come on down at the table, and we'll be ready to go here in a second. While the candidates are lining up, the order of our offices was predetermined. A coin was flipped to see which party candidate goes first, and the order is alternated throughout the night. So it'll be Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, and so forth and so on. We ask each candidate to respect the time limit. We have a timekeeper who will give you a 5, 3, 2, 1, and a 30-minute warning, plus the dreaded stop card if necessary. So with that, we're pleased to bring you to this forum, and we'd like to get started. Our first candidate tonight is Mike Reuter. He is a Republican candidate for circuit clerk. Although he's not previously held political office, he's been a police officer with the Pacific Police Department. He served in the U.S. Army for 8 years, and then earned an associate degree from Jefferson College, along with a Class A Police Officer Standard Training certification from the state. Please welcome Mike Reuter.
First, wanted to thank college for inviting us out here tonight. My name is Mike Reuter, and I've called Jefferson County my home for my entire life. I lived in DeSoto up until I was 16, where I moved to Arnold to take care of my grandfather. I love this county and the people who live here. I'm married to Renee. Been married to her for 27 years. I have 2 sons. They've grown. I've attained an associate degree from Jefferson College, also with a Class A certification in law enforcement from Jefferson College as well. I spent most of my work life in public service. In the Army for 8 years. I was assigned to an armored division, that's tanks, during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I've been in law enforcement for 10 years, Jefferson County, the cities of Kimmswick and Pacific. I'm the only candidate who has put myself in harm's way for 18 years to protect the community and the way of life. I've also served in numerous leadership roles. I was the president of the Emmanuel Lutheran Church of Barnhart as their president of voting committee. Also with the American Legion Post 283, I'm the post commander. I've coached soccer, baseball, junior high football, and high school track. I'm running for the circuit clerk's office for the 23rd Circuit of Jefferson County. This is an important position. Court documents, lives, and freedom of the citizens are at stake. Stability of companies of Jefferson County as well. In my job as the Sheriff's Department, I spent a lot of time in the courthouse. While our courthouse runs okay at times, there are some things important things that need to be changed. These include the lack of accountability, nepotism, favoritism, and a general culture of complacency. Frustrated citizens have come into the office looking for help. It is an uneasy experience when your life and your freedom is in concern. The clerks need to understand that people have rights and to be helped. Not legal advice, simply help. Clerks need to listen, direct the people in the right direction, and provide the right type of forms for these individuals. Some clerks have heavy workloads, others little or no expectation to serve the people or move the mission forward for the office. For example, Channel 4 News had done a story where fines had been paid in cash and receipts were issued. These fines were paid in full. At the end of the day, receipt did not match the cash and records were changed. There was $1,000 less. This was a major mistake. This was an embarrassment to the county, an indicator of the need for change, and most important, an inconvenience for a citizen. If elected, top priorities and my qualifications for this service, and giving employees and documents the respect they deserve. Here's how my background will help to tackle these problems. Through my work experience, I've learned to listen, to find ways to help solve problems. I've learned to calm confidence to a situation that can help other people. I've learned to hold others accountable and can be done with respect and can result in more and can result in more disciplined team. I've learned that a well-defined mission and a fair and constant policies set employees on a path to success. I plan to bring all these skills to bear in the circuit clerk's office. Culture change begin at the top, and I am up to the task. I will expect more. I will not encourage shortcuts and undercut professionalism of the office. I will not accept excuses such as, it's not my job, or this is how it's been done. I will emphasize that every opportunity, that it is every job to serve our community and to serve to the best of our abilities. This is why we need changes in the circuit clerk's office. I ran for this office not only because the clerks asked me to. I ran because this office, I want to improve the office and most importantly, to help the people. Folks, I have dedicated my life to the service and the community and to my country. I take public service very seriously, and I'm here to help. I have learned that the leader of an office, a department, or a team develops culture within the organization. My opponent wishes to just do the same old, same old. The citizens of this county deserve better, and I plan to do so. In a positive organization, people learn to act within a high level of precision and a high level of efficiency. We are taught to take pride in the work that we do, and we know the importance of the mission and also those we have we're sworn to serve. I will bring positive changes, improve culture, help employees to find joy in serving. My goal tonight is to earn your respect and to earn your vote. I can tell you this: if you give me the chance to serve you, I will work my tail off to serve you to the best of my ability. A vote for Mike Reuter is a vote for professionalism, efficiency, fairness, and a great service to the community. Please vote for Mike Reuter. Thank you.
All right, our Democratic candidate for circuit clerk, is Jeanette McKee. She's also not held public office before, but she's been the chief deputy clerk at the Jefferson County Circuit Clerk's office for many years. She's a certified court manager from the National Center of State Courts. Please welcome Jeanette McKee.
Hello, my name is Jeanette McKee. I'm the Democratic candidate for the clerk of the circuit court. I am married and have 4 children. I am a lifelong resident of Jefferson County, growing up in the DeSoto area, attending DeSoto High School. I am a member of Faith Community Church in House Springs. The office of circuit clerk is not a Democrat or Republican position. It is an office that requires management experience and qualifications. I attended the National Center of State Courts and received my certificate of court management in 2001. I also have a supervisory certificate from Southwest Missouri State University. I am a member of the Missouri Association of Circuit Clerks, International Association of Clerks, Recorders, Elected Officials, and Treasurers, and Missouri Professional Court Clerks Association. I have worked in the office of circuit clerk for the last 25 years. I started at the front counter assisting the public, and I worked my way up through the office to the position I hold today as the chief deputy clerk, working directly under the supervision of the circuit clerk. I have 7 supervisors under my authority. The circuit clerk's office is the administration backbone of the circuit and associate courts. We are a state office under the judicial branch. Our overall mission is to maintain, certify, and store court records on behalf of the courts. We also collect fines and fees, which I am proud to say our state audits were passed with flying colors. Last year, in April 2013, I oversaw the transition of all our paper records into an electronic format, as the office became one of the first e-filing courts in Missouri, modernizing our courts to provide easier access and efficiency for attorneys, litigants, and the general public. One of the most important departments within the circuit clerk's office handles domestic violence. It is very important to check our backgrounds and our qualifications for this very important position. The office handled over 1,900 domestic violence orders of protection cases last year, and we've already handled 1,300 cases this year. With all of the violence that we hear about today, all over the world news and especially in the NFL, would you want an abuser helping you or your family with a domestic problem? I don't. Please check our backgrounds and our qualifications for this very important position. I am the only certified court manager that has the experience to manage 65 court clerks. I am the only candidate with 25 years of experience. My name is Jeanette McKee, and I am asking for your vote and support for Clerk of the Circuit Court of Jefferson County. Thank you and God bless.
All right, thank you, candidates. I will now ask the candidates for Associate Circuit Judge Division 10 to come forward. Again, you're listening to the Jefferson County Growth Association Candidates Forum. And our next set of candidates are the Associate Circuit Judge candidates for Division 10. We will start with the Democratic candidate, Joe Rathert. Joe is current judge in Jefferson County Municipal Court. He has been a trial attorney for 26 years. He's a member of the Judges Association. He's a speaker on DWI laws in Missouri and has been very active in many other civic organizations. Please welcome Joe Rathert.
Good evening. My name is Joe Rathert. I was born and raised in Fenton, lived there for 27 years. I've been married to Ann Garrity Rathert, who, when we first got married, she didn't hyphenate her name, but I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 years she snuck the hyphen in, so which I'm fine with. We have two daughters, Molly and Libby. Molly is a third year in college, and Libby's a senior in high school. Libby picked up my tie and shirt, so if you don't like it, blame Libby. I've been, as the moderator indicated, I'm the Jefferson County Municipal Judge. I started that job in December of 2010. We handle about 20,000 files a year. The first municipal judge was Judge Ray Dickhainer. He's now an associate judge in Jefferson County. Our second municipal judge was Judge Tim Miller. He's now an associate judge in Jefferson County, and I'm the third municipal judge in Jefferson County. Last year, I think we handled right at 21,000 files, and if I break that down, I handled about 650 DWI pleas. I also have a criminal confinement docket where I actually go into the jail once a week and I interview the prisoners. It's a different system than what the circuit and associate circuit judges do. I'm not saying theirs is wrong, it's just my preference. I have a conversation with these prisoners in a room that's probably 6 by 10, 6 by 8. There are a couple of guards in there, Molly Jaskowitz and myself. And when I'm in a smaller room, in a smaller confined area, you have the opportunity to have a conversation. You can see their eyes, you can kind of see if they're swaying, you can tell if their skin is the wrong color, as if they've got a controlled substance problem. And I think you kind of get a little more taste of what the defendant's going through. It's my goal, it costs, Jefferson County pays about $42 a day to confine prisoners in our Jefferson County jail. And it's my goal as the judge in Jefferson County Municipal Court to keep prisoners that are a threat to society in jail. And in my opinion, you can't necessarily do that by just using a video screen. If someone clearly has a drug problem, if they've got the shakes, if their eyes are glassed or dazed, if they're coming down off a heroin high or a methamphetamine high, that's not the person I release on bond. I set a bond, I set it high, and I will revisit them in a week. And if they're doing better, then we'll evaluate the bond at that point. The docket, for example, tomorrow I have a docket at 1 o'clock, a co-docket at 1, a co-docket at 3, then a traffic DWI docket at 6:30. Then between the 3 o'clock docket and the 6:30 docket, I do my confined prisoner docket. When the municipal courts first started, I think we had about 4 or 5 dockets a month. Now I'm up to about 13 dockets a month. And I think it is run very efficiently, and I'll take part of the credit for that, but the court personnel that work in the Jefferson County Municipal Court truly do a wonderful job. Molly Jaskowitz is the court administrator, and she is absolutely phenomenal in what she does, along with the 2 prosecuting attorneys we have, Stephanie Powell and Vic Mellenbrink, 2 very sharp, articulate, on-the-ball prosecutors, and it makes my job much easier. Prior to becoming the Jefferson County Municipal Judge, I practiced law in Jefferson County literally every day. I'm in the courthouse every day for the last 26 years. I have not only handled criminal cases from, I've tried the murder cases, I've tried armed robbery cases, I've tried involuntary manslaughter cases as an attorney. I've tried big divorces where we talk about the division of minor children as to how much time they're going to spend with mom and how much time they're going to spend with dad. I've had cases with 15 and 20 hotline reports involved. I've tried neglect and abuse cases. I've tried and sued the big manufacturers of various products for product liability cases, primarily representing the plaintiff. It's a business that is a law office that was started by my father in Fenton over 55 years ago. My father's 85 years old. He's my mentor. He still practices law every day, and it's a family practice. My 85-year-old mom still answers the phone. I've got a couple of sisters that are paralegals that work for us, and in the Christmas break, every niece and nephew I have insists on getting Christmas money, so they need, Uncle Joe, do you have filing to be done, or what else can we do, Uncle Joe, to make a few bucks? I'm very proud of the fact that the municipal court runs as efficiently as it does. There are obviously ways of making changes to the municipal court, and I'm always open up for suggestions. I see that we're going to actually potentially branch out into other parts and take on additional cases in the future. It's a hands-on approach that I appreciate, and I think we do a very good job. I'd appreciate your support on November 4th, and I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The Republican candidate for Associate Circuit Judge, Division 10, is Jeffrey Coleman. Mr. Coleman is an Assistant Circuit Attorney for the City of St. Louis, and he's been there for the past 7 years. His role includes the charging and prosecution of violent crimes and career criminals. Before that, he was a member of the Sex Crimes Child Abuse Unit, which handled sex offenses and all crimes against children. As a circuit attorney, he has tried over 60 felony trials. Prior to then, Jeff was an assistant prosecuting attorney for Jefferson County for 6+ years and was in charge of a felony caseload. Please welcome Jeffrey Coleman.
Good evening, folks. My name is Jeff Coleman, and I am a Jefferson Countyan. Born and raised here, grew up in House Springs. I am a proud graduate of Northwest High School. I'm also a proud son of a union household, blue-collar folks. I think that's important for Jefferson County. That's what built this county. Labor, hard work. And that's what I'm here, and that's what I'm about. I didn't go the route of my father and working in the union. However, I did do that during law school. I worked as a seasonal bottler during law school during the summers to help pay my way through law school. But I chose my career path in law, and that's why I'm here. I spent the first part of my career working here in Jefferson County as an assistant prosecuting attorney. And I have been in the courtroom every day. Not as a muni judge, having somebody plead to a traffic ticket, but fighting the fight for the citizens of Jefferson County, prosecuting those who would offend against Jefferson County. That has been my job, seeking justice as a prosecutor. I have continued that career as a circuit attorney. I was in court today as well as Mr. Rather. However, I wasn't in front of a traffic docket, a DWI docket. I'm prosecuting a murder in the first degree case in the city of St. Louis right now. That's what I do for a living. That's what I love to do because I love to protect the citizens. I want justice for everyone. And as a judge, I believe that's the same thing. A judge is to be fair, is to be impartial, and to make sure everyone gets their day in court, no matter what the outcome. And it's important as a judge that you understand the law and you have a working understanding of the law, not just sitting in a robe, having a robe, and saying, how do you plead? Pay your court costs. It's more than that. It's about the Constitution. It's about the laws of the state of Missouri and the United States. And that's what I do for a living. And that's what I will do for Jefferson County. I have briefed before the Court of Appeals on numerous occasions. As a prosecuting attorney, I have represented judges on writs of prohibition when a defense attorney thinks that they did something wrong. It has been my job to respond and say, no, the judge got it right. I've also brought judges up on writs of prohibition, so I'm not afraid to say, I think you got it wrong, judge, because that's very important to our system. Being a judge is not, again, it's not about wearing a robe. It's about knowing the law. And I believe I'm the most qualified candidate in that. You can't just walk into a courtroom and pretend you know everything about what's going on. We don't, all of us know, none of us know everything about what's going on. But it's very important to have that courtroom experience, to be able to go through and understand the constitutional issues in criminal cases as well as civil cases. And I do have a background in some civil work as well. I have worked with the Jefferson County police agencies as a prosecutor here in the county with child abuse and neglect, helping them how to investigate crimes, how to further work with children. I have experience dealing with children. I am a father of 5 children, ranging from the age of 13 all the way down to 2. I know how to deal with children. I deal with them on a daily basis. I deal with them on a daily basis as well in the court system, and that are certified juveniles. I think it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that you get somebody to work as your judges who has that practical experience. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you Joe's a bad person. He's a great guy. What I'm going to tell you is I believe I am the most qualified candidate at this time. I would not be here if I didn't believe so. That is what I'm about. I'm about hard work and accountability. That's what I expect of myself, and that's what I will expect of anybody and everyone who comes in front of me in a courtroom. Now, we want to talk about some of the issues that are going on in Jefferson County as well as the state of Missouri with the courts. The courts are bogged down right now. We are not moving quickly enough and efficiently enough in the courts. Too much time, too much lag between court dates, too much allowing parties to continue things Is it maybe to get paid? Is it maybe because somebody just doesn't feel like coming down for it? The court date? It doesn't matter. It should be efficient. I remember as an associate here, an assistant in Jefferson County, we used to always get the, sorry, I couldn't be here, I'm in the county. I'm in the county. Like that somehow is a jurisdiction of higher priority. That's not how it works. And that's not how it should work in Jefferson County. Jefferson County is no worse than any other county, and it should be held to that high standard. It's not about I'm in the county or I'm in the city. I will manage a courtroom efficiently and fairly. I will make sure things get to trial if they need to get to trial. I will keep my hand on the case to make sure there's not unnecessary delay. Because these unnecessary delays are exactly what Mr. Rather is talking about with the cost of imprisoning people here in Jefferson County. Too many people are sitting waiting for their court date, when we should be, as judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys, working to make sure they get their day in court. That is justice, ladies and gentlemen, and that is what I'm about. Hard work, accountability, and justice. If you have any further questions, I will stick around and answer those for you. If you have any other questions about myself, I'm a Christian man. Like I said, I grew up in House Springs. I now live in Arnold. I attend First Baptist Church in Arnold. I coach over Immaculate Conception, 3 of my children, so I'm up there almost on a daily basis after hours. But that's what I'm about. If you have any questions, again, I will stick around. I'll answer your questions. But if you have anything further, you can also go to Jeff Coleman for Judge on Facebook. And you can see some of the information on there, or merely give me a call. Call me on my cell, 314-313-7384. I have no problem talking to anybody about anything. I'm a people person, and I appreciate your time. And I hope that you vote Jeffco for Jeffco on November 4th. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I will ask the candidates for Associate Circuit Judge Division 11 to come forward. And while we have a moment, I'd like to once again acknowledge our sponsors for tonight's event, Govero Land Services, Comtree, Lane Consolidated Service, Home Service Oil, Custom Insurance Services, Kevin's Car Care, and Mercy Hospital. All right, our Republican candidate for Associate Circuit Judge is Brenda Stacy. She has over 10 years of experience representing individuals in civil and criminal matters in state and federal courts. She's involved in the Jefferson County Bar Association, their Committee on Pro Bono Activities. She's the founder of a Women's Bar Association of Jefferson County, and she is on the Board of Directors for the Arnold Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome Brenda Stacy.
So I've been asked, why am I running for judge? Why am I trading in a sole practice for longer hours, less flexibility, and more stress? I'm running for judge because I believe in our system. I believe in our Constitution, and I believe in protecting our rights. I believe that Jefferson County deserves honesty and integrity from our judges. I think I'm the first candidate here tonight, by the way, who's going to tell you I did not grow up in Jefferson County. I grew up in Northern California and knew that I could be whatever I wanted to be. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to defend our constitutional rights. But during high school and early college, at some point, what I can only explain as the insanity of youth, I thought it would be a better decision to be a high school history teacher. Upon graduation from college, though, I once again decided to attend law school. I'm not sure that there was any less insanity in that decision, because what I decided to do is move 1,300 miles from my home in California to Boulder, Colorado, just me and my daughter as a single mom to tackle law school. It was during law school that I married my husband, and when I graduated from law school, I walked across the platform carrying my 8-day-old little boy, who's over there tonight. But after that, we took our young family, we moved from Colorado back to California, and chose to move to Missouri, where we had our third child. He's over there too. But my husband and I have lived throughout the United States, but we chose Jefferson County. We chose Jefferson County to raise our kids and to invest in our future. I intend to see my grandchildren grow up here in Jefferson County, and I want them to enjoy the same quality of life that my kids are enjoying now, and to instill the same values in them that are in the in our community now. I'm dedicated to promoting our county to be all it can. From day-to-day decisions like shopping Jefferson County because it makes sense, to promoting diversity in Jefferson County by starting the Women's Bar Association, serving on the Jefferson County Bar Association Committee for Pro Bono Activities, and serving at the Parents Club at my kids' school. I am committed to Jefferson County for now and for our future. We deserve a judiciary that is humble, honest, and responsible. The Bible says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. My opponent and I, one of the biggest differences in some ways is age. He has created a list that I think is misleading, that compares his experience over mine. The biggest difference would be age, because during the last decade, I have represented countless clients, criminal clients, civil clients. I've represented clients in DWIs, in theft. I've represented clients in family law, dividing assets, in custody cases, in real estate cases. I've written appeals in juvenile courts. I have been nominated by my peers and chosen by the Missouri Bar as one of 12 attorneys throughout the state to serve on the Leadership Academy of the Missouri Bar. I've been rated as superb by my peers and my clients. I think his chart about me is misleading. I believe the judiciary has a responsibility to serve the county with integrity, to follow rules and procedures that are set out by our legislature and through our Constitution and statutes. We have a responsibility to serve humbly and limit the power that can be wielded by the gavel. Patrick Henry said that the Constitution is not an instrument for the government to restrain the people. It is an instrument for the people to restrain the government. Missouri Supreme Court grants most defendants the right to be released while waiting for their day in court. And conditions of release will be set so that they can reasonably assure the appearance of the accused. But currently we have policies in Jefferson County that require the accused to be subject to terms of supervision. This isn't about the defendant appearing in court. It's about controlling the defendant. They haven't been found guilty yet. This is a direct contradiction to the right of the accused, to the Supreme Court rules, and to our legislation. Jefferson County leads the eastern half of Missouri in the numbers of defendants being monitored for alcohol consumption. That's not a job for a judge. It exceeds the judicial authority granted by the Constitution and by our legislature. It is essentially wielding the power of the gavel to restrain our people. So I'm asking you to vote for Brenda Stacy for judge in November. Vote for honesty, a vote for integrity and responsibility. Thank you.
The Democratic candidate for Associate Circuit Judge in the 11th Division is Ray Dickhainer. He is currently the Division 11 judge in Hillsboro. Ray Dickhainer has filed for a third term of office. Division 11 is exclusively a criminal division, handling over 2,000 new criminal cases a year. Half of the new criminal cases and DUI cases go through this division. Previous to his state judge position, Judge Dickhainer was the founding judge of the Jefferson County Municipal Court, and prior to that, had a 30-year career as a trial lawyer. He's a past recipient of the Missouri Bar Association Trial Lawyer of the Year. Please welcome Ray Dickhainer.
Thank you, folks.
And I also wish to thank the college and the Growth Association, of which I'm a past member and a past Board of Director member, for the opportunity for us to address the citizens of Jefferson County and have them have an opportunity to hear from us directly and then to compare candidates for these contested elections. It is correct that there is an age difference between Ms. Stacy and myself. That age difference brings not only a maturity, but it brings 40 years of legal practice here in Jefferson County or on the bench as I am now. By way of background, I am Missouri born and educated. My college degree is from Westminster College in Fulton. My law degree and a master's degree are both from Washington University. Shortly following licensing in Missouri, I did engage in the private practice in Jefferson County in Hillsboro, and for 40 years I've been officing in Hillsboro, either in the private practice of law or now these past 8 years on the bench. I do have 10 years of judicial experience. Ms. Stacy doesn't have any judicial experience. Ms. Stacy does have her 10 years of experience primarily as a divorce attorney, which is certainly an appropriate and important position. But folks, it doesn't do much to train a person to be a judge of an exclusively criminal court. That's all I do all day long, 5 days a week. And I have that experience, and I've had that seat and position for the past 8 years. In my division, in Division 11, folks, it is also, and this is very important, a jury trial division. Misdemeanor defendants have a right to have their cases determined, not by me, but by a jury of their peers, of you folks, 12 of you folks. I have tried over 300 jury trials. We do try cases, as many cases are set as 5 cases a month for jury settings. I do not believe Ms. Stacy has ever tried a jury trial. I don't believe she's ever tried a criminal jury trial. I don't believe she's ever done what's called a preliminary hearing, which is our version of the indictment process that you're hearing so much about Ferguson. And I've tried countless preliminary hearings. Almost every day we try a preliminary hearing, which is a very important aspect of felony cases. I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about something that most of you have never heard of. It's called Martindale-Hubbell. And most of you are saying, what the heck is a Martindale-Hubbell? But it means a lot to lawyers. Martindale-Hubbell is a national rating service that rates lawyers and judges all across the United States. They don't do that all on their own. They solicit evaluations from other lawyers and judges who are in the same community as the lawyer they're rating. And their rating system, after they get all these evaluations back and they tabulate them and they compute them out, they've come up with a rating system. You can be not rated. That means you've either not been around long enough or you don't have enough positive evaluations to be rated. The next step up from no rating at all is rated. Rated means you have high ethics and very good legal skills and a very good legal acumen. The next step up from that they call BV. It's just initials and letters, but it stands for excellence in ethics and also very, very good legal abilities. Their highest rating, folks, is called AV. They call that preeminent legal abilities. It's the highest legal abilities of a lawyer or a judge, and also the very highest of ethics. I'm pleased and proud to tell you folks that I am an AV lawyer, have been an AV lawyer for decades. I'll also tell you that Ms. Stacy is not rated. That same service also has a numerical rating, 1 through 5. They even do halves, so that in addition to the AV rating, you can have a numerical rating of up to 5. You can be a 3.5, you can be a 4.5. I'm also pleased to tell you I'm a 5.0 rated under that system that they have, and Ms. Stacy doesn't have a rating. At the time of the filing for office, I looked at Ms. Stacy's cases that she has pending, that are in her stable of cases, the cases that she had. She had no criminal cases, folks. She's filed for a criminal position. She didn't have any criminal cases in her inventory at the time she filed. We also do traffic in my division. The only traffic case Ms. Stacy had was her own ticket. So she doesn't present to the voters as a person who has any background to speak of in the kind of things that this division does now and is intended to do down the road. In talking with the presiding judge who decides what each judge does, there's no plan at all to change Division 11 or Division 14 from being exclusively a criminal court. I do bring 40 years of experience to this position. I do work hard at it. It's very important, folks, in a criminal trial, whether it be a bench trial tried by the judge or a jury trial tried by the jury, that we get it right. It'd be a profound disaster and a profound catastrophe to convict an innocent person, but it's equally important not to acquit or find not guilty a guilty person. It's bad for the public safety, it's bad for the rights of victims, and we need folks in these very responsible positions. One of the most responsible positions, I feel, in the courthouse to have the training and the experience that's necessary. I want to talk a little bit about our pretrial release program. I've just been criticized for it, but I'm quite proud of it. Judge Bouchard, who's also a speaker, and I created that program with the technology that exists today that didn't exist before. And it is correct that if you present on a case on our dockets in Jefferson County with 4 or 5 DWI arrests, by statute, I'm entitled to consider public safety as part of any bond condition. So you're not just paying a bail bondsman $1,000 and out you go, right out to the car, right out to the tavern. If you have a history of alcohol in Jefferson County and you're charged with an alcohol-related crime, you are going to be on some kind of alcohol monitoring. It might be urinalysis testing. It might be breath testing. It might be those bracelets you see people wear. We do that, folks, not as a gavel-wielding show of our strength, but in the interest of public safety. We do have more people on alcohol monitors who are waiting trial, completely free of alcohol, than any other county on the eastern half of the state. With respect to drug crimes, if you're charged in Jefferson County with a serious drug crime, you're going to be randomly tested for drugs. We're going to know if you're buying pseudoephedrine and you're involved in a meth lab. It's often, before we instituted some of these programs, that somebody would be rearrested for a meth lab bust, having just been arrested perhaps within a week of a meth lab bust. That doesn't happen, folks, if we're on our toes as judges. We set, the prosecutor does it, we judges set the bond terms. We judges are responsible for the crimes people commit while they're out on our bond. Okay, so we are doing that. If you're involved in a domestic violence or a crime of violence, we are. I'm sorry, out of time. Thanks for your time. I could talk about this a long time.
All right, thank you. All right, our last set of judges tonight will be for Division 12, so I would ask those candidates to go ahead and come forward at this time. The Democratic candidate for Associate Circuit Judge of Division 12 is Steve Bouchard of Crystal City. He's running for re-election again this year. He ran unopposed on August 5th, and in 2010 he was re-elected after running unopposed. He was first elected to Division 12 judge in 2006. Judge Bouchard has resided and practiced law in Jefferson County for 35 years. He has prosecuted hundreds of major criminal offenses and personally tried over 35 criminal jury trials, 3 being first-degree murder cases. Judge Bouchard has helped organize Jefferson County Habitat for Humanity and served as president for 3 years while working on the first 3 homes that were constructed. For this work, he received the 1999 Commerce Bank Community Service Award and was presented with the Missouri State Senate resolution by State Senator Steve Stoll. Would you please welcome Judge Stephen Bouchard?
Thank you, Dr. Kaminsky. You took half my speech. I also want to thank the Jefferson College and the Jefferson County Growth Association and also KGFF for providing the citizens voters of Jefferson County an opportunity to hear the candidates address issues facing Jefferson County. My name is Stephen Bouchard. I was first elected 8 years ago as judge, Division 12, Circuit Court of Jefferson County. I have since devoted myself to performing the duties of my judicial office faithfully, impartially, competently, and diligently. I've been emphasizing in my re-election campaign my experience and my proven commitment to public safety and to public service. For 35 years, I have resided and practiced law in Jefferson County. I am committed to this county. I raised my children in this county. I have a long-term, uninterrupted, continual history of service to Jefferson County and its residents. I moved to Jefferson County in 1979 when first hired as an assistant prosecuting attorney. During the following 8 years, I prosecuted hundreds of major criminal cases and also tried in excess of 35 criminal jury trials, including 3 first-degree murder cases. In 1987, I entered private practice. I spent the following 19 years representing hundreds of individuals and businesses in a wide array of family law, civil, and criminal cases in the courthouse at Hillsboro. In 2006, after both the contested primary and general election, I was elected Division 12 judge. I took the bench on January 1st of 2007. I've proven my commitment to public service. In addition to my service work as prosecutor and judge, I helped organize Jefferson County Habitat for Humanity and served as its president for 3 years while its first 3 homes were completed. In recognition of my work with Habitat, I received the Commerce Bank William T. Kemper Community Service Award and also a Missouri State Senate resolution presented by then State Senator Stephen Stoll. I served on the Crystal City School Board for 7 years in an effort to improve our children's education. I'd like to focus on 2 issues already been addressed in part by other candidates that I believe are important to the people of Jefferson County: public safety and delay in resolution of criminal and civil cases. On the issue of public safety, I, as judge, adopted and implemented in Division 11 technologies and practices that deter criminal behavior, protect individual rights, and promote public safety. These include 24-hour secure, continuous remote alcohol monitors, the SCRAM ankle device that was mentioned by Judge Dickhainer, for serious alcohol-related offenses, GPS monitoring, electronic house arrest, random drug and alcohol screening, intensive supervision of individuals on probation and on bond, together with prompt consequence in the violation of conditions of release on bond or while on probation. These services, you need to know, are paid by the individual defendants. They're not paid by your tax dollars. In 2010, my division was one of 6 courts selected nationwide by the National Highway Transportation Safety Commission for individual case studies on the innovative use of SCRAM monitoring and controlling the serious alcohol-related offender. I was recognized in 2013 by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department for my contributions to public safety while presiding over the Jefferson County DWI Court. If re-elected, I'm going to continue my efforts. On the issue of delay in case resolution, I really believe in the phrase, justice delayed is justice denied. Unreasonable delay in the resolution of any case, criminal or civil, just benefits neither party whatsoever. There are up to 7,000 criminal civil cases, 7,000 criminal civil cases that are filed in Division 12 each year. These are suits that are seeking monetary damages, property disputes. I have implemented practices and procedures to ensure the prompt and fair resolution of these cases. As a result, over the last 3 years, the average number of civil cases that are pending in my division have decreased by 29%. The Missouri Supreme Court has implemented time standards directing that 95% of civil cases filed in Associate Circuit Court be resolved within 12 months. Division 12 has exceeded the standard for the last 3 years. In 2013, 99% of the civil cases filed in division were resolved within 12, filed in my division were resolved within 12 months. If re-elected, I intend to continue my hard work and efforts to promote the fair and just resolution of all cases filed in my division. There are a few other matters I'd like to speak with you about. You can confirm with what I say with basically any attorney who does business at the courthouse. I work and put in long hours there. I do so because I take my responsibilities with the utmost seriousness and I want to get my decisions right. We as judges are entrusted with incredible power and authority to make decisions that will directly affect the liberty and property interests of people who appear before us. These are serious responsibilities that a judge should never, ever lose sight of. I always take whatever time is necessary in order to ensure that I have a full understanding of all the facts involved in a case so that I can enter an appropriate decision based upon the applicable law. I do not enter knee-jerk decisions. I either explain the reasons for my decision from the bench or I will do so in a written judgment setting forth my factual findings, reasons for my decision, and my ultimate judgment. While a party may not always agree with a given decision, no one can walk out of my courtroom and say they don't understand why I entered the decision as I did. As stated by Jack Stewart, a well-respected attorney who has been practicing law in Jefferson County for 44 years, if you're in Division 12, you're going to get due process. Please choose wisely. I would really appreciate your vote in November. Thank each and every one of you.
All right, the Republican candidate for Associate Circuit Judge, Division 12, is Tony Manasala. Tony graduated from law school in 1985. He practiced civil law for over 7 years before going into criminal law. He has tried numerous felony cases and handled thousands of criminal cases. Please welcome Tony Manasala.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Jefferson College, for inviting me to speak here tonight. I am Antonio Tony Manansala. You may have seen my signs as Tony M. That's a lot easier to remember than Manansala, believe me. My wife is Laura Massey Manansala. She's here with me tonight. And some of the people on the campaign trail have asked me, am I related to Dr. Manansala, who was a doctor in Arnold? For clarification, yes, I'm the proud son of Dr. Manansala and his wife, Virginia, who practiced. And I actually see some former patients of my dad who would approach me tonight. My experience, as Dr. Kaminsky says, is I've been an attorney for 28 years. I started out in private practice, handling civil cases, landlord-tenant, traffic tickets, mostly civil. And I realized, the money, yeah, that's one thing. You can chase the money. But I decided, you know what? I want to do something meaningful with my legal career. So you know what I did? I joined the public defender system 21 years ago. I do it because I believe in the Constitution, right to counsel, Sixth Amendment. You've probably heard the right, Miranda warnings. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to you. That's me. I do it because I believe in the Constitution. I've heard every story in the book, believe me. I've got that experience. I've tried 33 felonies, jury trials, 5 murder first cases. I've tried numerous other felonies. And let me tell you, the public, they've said to me, how do we vote for judges? What is the information? Well, let me tell you, traditionally, good trial attorneys make good judges. And I have the experience, lots of it. I also handled the most complex of cases. And I have to tell you, I believe not many lawyers in Jefferson County can say that they've handled capital litigation post-conviction where I have reviewed the performance of an attorney, whether they provided effective assistance of counsel as part of the process to see if the case should stay a conviction or not. I've done that in my career. Now, I've been asked, Tony, what's the reason that you want to run for judge? My response is, it's been a long time dream of mine, but also, in addition to that, there's a problem with the incumbent judge in Division 12. These are the facts. Judge Bouchard has been removed from hearing all criminal cases since October of 2011. Since December of 2013, he's been removed by the presiding judge from hearing DWI court cases. Now, when he was first removed in October 2011, the presiding judge, as quoted in an article to the Missouri Lawyers Media, we try to do assignments for judges based on their strengths. That's how we assign cases. See, presiding judges, let me explain something. There's 12 judges in Jefferson County. 6 of them are circuit court judges. 6 of them are associate judges. The presiding judges, 6 of them, rotate being presiding judge, and they administer how the cases are assigned to each division. So I heard about this, and I came back to Jefferson County. I've been in Jefferson County. My job's taken me to other places, to other offices. And I heard about this. I'm like, what's going on here? Well, the presiding judge, what happened was there were so many disqualifications out of Division 12 that it threw off the docket and it just wasn't working correctly. Division 11 is one of the three judges, it was traditionally 11, 12, and 14 heard all criminal cases equally, 1/3 apiece. So January 1, 2011, first day of the second term of Judge Duquesne or Judge Bouchard, the cases were assigned 1/3 each. But then all these disqualifications from 12 were happening, and then the presiding judge had to do something. Because on a disqualification, a lawyer can file that without giving a reason. It's part of the Missouri Supreme Court rules. And you can take your chances with another judge. So that's what happened. Division 11 and 14 handle 50% each of the criminal cases right now. Judge Bouchard, he only handles civil cases. He's not allowed to handle the criminal cases. Is that fair, Judge Decatur, Judge Miller in 14? Is it just? Now, you've probably seen my opponent's signs. Judge for yourself. Judge for yourself. I believe that's an excellent idea. But in order to do that on November 4th, I ask that you educate yourself and be informed of what's going on in the courthouse in this division. Find out the facts. If you want any confirmation of judge assignments, I'm willing to provide that to you. That's available under the Sunshine Law. It's available for anybody who wants to know how these cases are assigned. Mr. Bouchard also says public safety. That's one of his platforms. Okay, he helped put Scram on, this alcohol monitoring, okay. But why, I ask you, has he been removed from all criminal cases, and then he puts on the signs public safety? Isn't that a little bit misleading? Judge for yourself. Let me tell you what I bring to the table. I bring integrity, honesty, dependability, and a hard work ethic. Been doing this for 21 years, working hard, following the Constitution. I will follow the United States Constitution and the Missouri Constitution, as well as all the laws of the state of Missouri. There will not be disqualifications in the numbers that came out of 12 if you elect me in Division 12. I have the highest reputation as a top trial attorney and in the legal community. Ask any local lawyer. As a matter of fact, there's lawyers in this room that come to me for advice. I'm more than willing. Thank you. Vote for me on November 4th.
All right, well, we're going to move into the state representatives now, so I will ask the candidates for the 97th district to come forward. You are listening to the Jefferson County Growth Association Candidates Forum here at Jefferson College. We appreciate your support tonight. JCGA believes the economic future of Jefferson County is rooted in various important initiatives. Toward this end, the Growth Association wants to play either a leadership role or a supportive role, such as demonstrated in our One Plan, One Voice initiative, to outline the strengths and current activities with the greatest potential to make Jefferson County a more attractive place to live, work, and invest. Well, unfortunately, not every candidate can be with us tonight, but we are lucky enough to have one candidate for the District 97th with us. That's an incumbent, Republican John McCarty. John is pastor at First Baptist Church of Murphy. His professional experience includes sales, management, and service industries. He was also a member of the U.S. Air Force. Currently in the legislature, he serves on the Crime and Prevention and Public Safety Committees, General Laws, International Trade. He's the chair of that. He's the vice chair of the Issue Development Standing Committee on Missouri Ports, Missouri Sportsman Issue Development, Oral Health Issue Development, Veterans Committee, and many, many more. Please welcome John McCarty.
Thank you, Dr. Kaminsky, and citizens and the college and everybody who helped put this on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not going to tell you a lot about my opponent because I don't know anything about him. I was kind of hoping he might be here tonight so I could actually meet him. But let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a husband and a father. I've been married for 28 years. 2 grown boys that are doing very well. One of them's in Washington, D.C. right now as an intern for the Tax Foundation. And the other one is a union apprentice electrician. And, you know, I have 3 grandkids. I did serve in the United States Air Force for 6 years. And I pastor at a local church on Highway 30 in Old Sugar Creek at First Baptist Church of Murphy. I've been there for 12 years now. You know, and as a pastor, I find a lot of people every week that I talk to, and I hear about their issues that they deal with, issues like the economy, issues that they deal with as far as the state goes, things that they struggle with. We run a food pantry out of our church, serve over 100 families a month. So I know times are hard, and I know things are difficult. And I think by that experience as a pastor, it gives me the opportunity to be able to go back to Jefferson City and take votes and make policy that actually helps people. A lot of times, you know, when you're doing things there, you can kind of get insulated a little bit. And I think it's good for us to stay grounded. I'm running for re-election in the Missouri House because I believe it's time for citizens to stand up and go back and serve like they did at the founding of our country in the area of term limits in our state government. I think it's important for people of integrity and courage to go up and stand for the citizens that we represent. I believe I've done that. Like many others here tonight, many that I'm sure that you're going to hear, I'm a pro-life candidate. I'm for lower taxes, less government, smaller government, less spending, all of those things that people like to hear. The difference sometimes is our voting record. How do we vote? One of the reasons I initially ran for Missouri House of Representatives was because I noticed that my representative at the time came home and he said one thing and he went to Jefferson City and he did another. I've tried not to do that. I have constituent coffees every month where we sit down and we talk about the issues, where we talk about things that are going on at the Capitol, where we talk about things that are going on back home, so that I can know when I leave on a Monday to go back to Jefferson City and sit at my desk in the Capitol, that I know what the people back home want, what they expect of me. There's been a lot of times since I have been elected since 2010 that we've come to some crossroads. I've sat down with parties, with individuals on both sides of the aisle. We've worked out issues that directly affect Jefferson County. There have been things as far as money for ports and things of that nature that we have worked very tirelessly on. There's also been times in my career at the state capitol that stopping legislation was just as important as passing something, and things that would directly hurt our county. And regardless of party affiliation, I have stood with our citizens. And my hope is to continue to do that, to continue to work to make Jefferson County all that it can be. And I would appreciate your support in doing that. As was mentioned, I am the chairman of International Trade and Job Creation. My responsibility with that committee is to look and to find opportunities for our small business as well as our large corporations to be able to do business internationally. That's a tough job, especially when most businesses in our communities don't know how to do that. They don't know where to start. And so part of that is putting in the programs, putting in the organization, putting in the education in order for them to do business outside of our county. Private industry and investment, I think we could all agree that's what we need. I think we're on the right track. I think that Missouri is stronger today than it was. I think that we can move forward from this place, and I think that we can work together. Jefferson County is kind of unique. In 2010, we saw an upswell. We saw a change in the dynamics of the politics of our county. What we also saw in 2010 was we saw both parties within our community come together. And we saw them start working together. And I can't count the number of times in Jefferson City that our county would come together and just make decisions what is good for us. And I think that's important. I don't think this is a matter of so much as far as Republican or Democrat or Independent, as much as it is who's going to go and vote true to themselves, vote true to their constituents, and do the job that they've been elected to do. I've been proud to do that. I hope to go back. I have a lot of notes. I'm probably close to being out of time, but I just appreciate very, very much being able to serve and being able to be the state representative for the 97th District, which includes part of High Ridge, Jefferson County portion of Fenton, over into Arnold, and even some of St. Louis County. And so with that, you can contact me. My cell phone number is 314-809-5123. If you can't reach me, I can't represent you. And so my wife just cringes every time I give that out, but I give it out anyway. You can also contact me on the web at electjohnnow.com. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. And don't forget, John McCarty, November 4th. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask the candidates for the 111th District to come forward. And I don't know if that's a reflection of you, Mike, at all, that the signs come down about me. Democrat Michael Frame is the incumbent. He was first elected to the chamber in 2012. His professional experience includes working for the Service Employees International Union, Local 1, and as a union construction pipe fitter and laborer. He served in the United States Navy from 1984 to 1988. His current legislative committees include appropriations, infrastructure and job creation, emerging issues in agriculture, local government, professional registration and licensing, workforce development, and workplace safety. Please welcome Michael Frame.
I want to thank Dr. Kibitsky and everyone else. I think everyone's been thanked tonight, all the sponsors and the good doctor, but you guys haven't been thanked. So I just want to thank you for coming out on a night when the Cardinals played. Most of the time we sat here chatting about political issues. We were going to a 3-2 win over there, so fantastic. Good job for our St. Louis Cardinals, huh? It's a great baseball town we live in. Hi, I'm Michael Frame, and on Tuesday, November 4th, my name will be listed on your ballot for the office of State Representative. I'd like to take just a few minutes of your time to talk about why I'm running and why this election is so important. My family's been a part of Jefferson County for over 100 years. In fact, the American Legion Hall in Festus still is partly named in honor of my great-granduncle, who was a founding member of this county and a man who gave his life defending our nation. Now, like my great-granduncle and so many others in my family, I also served my country. I enlisted in the United States Navy and was stationed aboard the aircraft carrier USS John F. Kennedy. During my tenure aboard Kennedy, my leadership abilities were recognized on several occasions, but I'm especially proud of receiving presidential commendations from then President Ronald Reagan upon being selected Military Leader of the Year in 1986. I believe that each of us has a duty to pay something back for the privilege of living in the greatest country in the history of the world. For me, the military was a great start, but it was far from being an end-all. Upon being honorably discharged from the Navy, I came home to Jefferson County and became involved with my local school district, and for the next 10 years, served on a multitude of school committees, ultimately serving on the Northwest R1 Board of Education. Now, during this time, I was following my father's footsteps and continuing my employment as a journeyman pipe fitter. Now, folks, that used to mean hard work, but good pay and quite honestly, great benefits. However, the building and construction trades in St. Louis has suffered right along with the rest of our middle class during this economic crisis. So I know what it's like to pray your back doesn't give out because you really need to work for the rest of that year. I know what it's like to look out over that economic horizon and see no construction projects planned and wonder how my own family is going to make it. I've had too many friends have to make that long walk to their child's bedroom to tell them that they can no longer afford to live in their home anymore. Now, you don't need me to tell you that we're in a tough place right now. And that's why I'm running for state representative. But I also came here tonight because I want to correct the record on a couple issues. And I really wish my opponent were here tonight because he's the one that could do this. Now, during the Republican primary, there was a great deal of controversy regarding a photo that my opponent used in a campaign flyer. I have it here tonight, which he was posing in a military flight uniform. Now, folks, make no mistake. I'm a real veteran, okay? He never served one day in the armed services. And this picture of him posing in a military flight uniform, I think is an insult. For much of the general election, my opponent distributed the same primary flyer, misleading voters into thinking he is endorsed by the NRA in November. Make no mistake, again, I'm the only candidate in this race endorsed by the NRA. I'm the only candidate with an A+ NRA Second Amendment rating. On his Facebook page, he says that he's a union member. But folks, no labor union has ever endorsed him, not even his own. So I don't want to spend too much time when he's not here to kind of defend himself, but I really was hoping he would be here to be able to actually draw this contrast out and get some straight answers. But, you know, the hardworking families of this county just deserve better than that. They don't deserve political spin and double talk and misleading claims which aren't true. They deserve straight answers. And since he's not here tonight, I'm going to go ahead and cut my speech short and let some other folks who are opposed. But thank you so much for your time. And if you have a free minute, please visit my website. It's www.frame4missouri.com. Thank you so much.
Well, for those of you who are listening on the radio, you might wonder what some of the noises we're having, what might be characterized as a sign malfunction here, so we're making a minor adjustment. While I do that, I do want to again recognize our sponsors, Govero Land Services, Comtree, Lane Consolidated Service, Home Service Oil, Custom Insurance Services, Kevin's Car Care, and Mercy Hospital. We appreciate their support. All right, now I'm going to ask the representatives, the candidates for District 112 to come forward. The next two state districts have no incumbent, as they're all replacing outgoing term-limited candidates. So our first candidate for the 112th is the Democratic candidate, Robert W. Butler. He's South County Coordinator for the St. Louis County Executive Election. He's the owner of a law firm. And again, he's a candidate for the State Representative District 112. Please welcome Robert Butler.
Hello, thank you for being here tonight. The biggest excitement tonight was when I came in here, I didn't think anybody would show up because they would be watching the Cardinals game, so I appreciate you coming out. I want to thank the Jefferson County Growth Association, Jefferson College for hosting this event. I think it's a great event. It's the first one I've been to, and I love the turnout, and I'm glad people have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the candidates. As he said, my name is Robert Butler, and I'm running for state representative in Missouri's 112th district. First, let me share a little bit about myself by way of introduction. My wife Miriam and I will be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary this coming May. We've lived in Jefferson County for 18 years. Together we have 4 wonderful children. My oldest daughter is at St. Louis University Law School. My second daughter is a biology major at Missouri S&T. I have a daughter that's a senior in high school, Koryesu, and my son Rory is a freshman at St. Louis University High. Just got his driving permit, so beware. My qualifications to serve the people of Jefferson County include having a bachelor's degree in accounting and a law degree from the University of Missouri. I am an attorney, and I've owned my own law firm and practice for 15 years. My practice has been dedicated to helping working men and women who have been injured on the job. I talk with these men and women every day and continuously hear about their struggles in paying their rent, keeping up with their mortgage, paying their bills, and making ends meet. It is getting harder and harder for families to meet their basic household needs, let alone enjoy family luxuries such as a vacation. Healthcare has become an overriding concern of many of these families who simply cannot afford health insurance. The Missouri General Assembly is too focused on the interests of large out-of-state corporations and Missouri millionaires at the expense of our working families. These millionaires and big corporations all have their lobbyists who make sure their voices are heard. I want it to be your time to be heard in Jefferson City. In this race, you have a real choice between the two candidates. Both of us are pro-life, and both of us have pledged to defend our rights under the Second Amendment. However, that's pretty much where the similarities end. As state representative, I will oppose so-called right-to-work legislation pushed by big out-of-state corporations, which is aimed at breaking unions and lowering wages. My opponent supports it. I support raising the minimum wage, which helps working men and women support their families without having to rely on food stamps and other government assistance. I believe in expanding the Medicaid program to stop the $2.25 billion earmarked for Missouri from going to other states instead. We are losing $34 million a week to states like California and Illinois. That's why even the conservative Missouri Chamber of Commerce of this state supports expanding Medicaid. My opponent opposes the expansion of Medicaid. Additionally, I think it is critical that we need to fully fund our local public schools and quit putting the burden of supporting public education on our local property owners. I am proud to have earned the endorsement of both the Missouri Teachers and Better Schools, which represents school administrators and principals. Likewise, I am very pleased to have received the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Our law enforcement professionals have a difficult and dangerous job, and we need to support their unselfish efforts to protect our communities. To help our seniors, I will work to cap real estate taxes for seniors living on fixed incomes. I will also look for ways to expand vital services like Meals on Wheels that help seniors maintain independent living. However, one of my biggest goals is to work towards economic development in Jefferson County. My plan would be to, 1, create a Missouri First program, which would mandate that all government agencies look to purchase Missouri-made products and services first, to provide microloans to small entrepreneurs looking to start their own businesses, to establish a business incubator in Jefferson County to help start up companies, and to target manufacturing jobs to come to Missouri and aggressively promote Missouri as a place for aerospace, auto, biomedical, agribusiness, energy, and technology industries. I've spent since mid-February to now knocking on over 5,000 doors in my district to meet the people of my district and to listen to them. They told me that they want elected officials of conscience with the courage to fight corrupting influence of big money special interest. They want representatives who will promote jobs, not gridlock, improve our schools, protect consumers, and defend the middle class. I hope to earn the opportunity to be that representative. I'm not going to take up all my time, so thank you for your kind consideration, and I would appreciate your votes on November 4th.
All right, I'll now ask the candidates for the District 113 to come forward. Our first presenter tonight is Sean Faust. He is the Democrat candidate for this office. He's an educator out of the Fox School District. He's a former staff member for Governor Jay Nixon. He's a former member of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW 655. Please welcome Sean Faust.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm a lifelong Jefferson County resident. I grew up in the county back when Chrysler was still open and when a guy out of college or a guy coming out of a tech school or even high school could come out and get a good paying manufacturing job. Since then, those jobs have left the county for the most part, and we've been left with those being filled by retail positions at Target and, of course, restaurant work. And people that used to be able to go off and make enough money to support a family no longer can. I'm running to hopefully change that. There's 4 things that my campaign is focusing on. One of them is the creation of a port in Jefferson County. We have a very unique opportunity here. We're on the Mississippi River. We also have Interstate 55 and a great existing rail network. The port in Jefferson County would bring good paying jobs that would be a good start to replace what we lost when we lost a lot of our manufacturing. Another issue which I'd like to address is bringing Medicaid expansion here to Missouri. Currently, we're turning away billions of dollars in federal money that we pay in, and they're not going back into the piggy bank. They're going to be spent in Illinois and California. I would like to make sure we get that money back here in Missouri. We're paying for it either way. Bringing that money here would also create up to 24,000 jobs, a Mizzou study said, as well as give over 250,000 people health insurance that would help out with a lot of preventative medicine rather than having to go to the hospital last minute and burden the system with outrageous expenses for things that could have been prevented for a much lower cost. One of the third things I'd like to focus on is ethics reform in the state, both in campaign finance and in lobbyist gifts. We're the only state in the United States of America that allows for unlimited campaign contributions as well as unlimited lobbyist gifts. If I'm being paid by you, the taxpayer, to go to Jefferson City and getting a salary of $36,000 a year for 5 months of work and a per diem of $104 a day, there's no reason why I need to be eating lunch on a lobbyist dime. We also need to just do more in general to get the role of money out of politics. It has way too much influence here in Missouri, and people are able to make $100,000 donations to campaigns. the old argument is vote with your dollars. Well, if you have $1 billion and I have $30,000 a year job, I think your voice will be a lot louder than mine. I don't think that's what this democracy was meant to be, how it was meant to be ran. My opponent here is a gentleman from the Grocers Association. He's been very different in his approach. While I think we should raise the minimum wage so that people can support themselves on a living wage, he's called for decreasing the minimum wage here in Missouri. I also oppose legislation, the right-to-work legislation, which would hurt our collective bargaining rights for Missouri workers. My opponent has supported such legislation. I'm asking for your vote on November 4th so we can keep this middle class alive here in Missouri, and I'd very much appreciate your vote. Thank you so much.
Republican candidate for the 113th District is Dan Shaw. He has not previously held a statewide office, but did serve or serves on the Windsor School Board District and has served in the United States Air Force. So please welcome Dan Shaw.
Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening, and congratulations to the Cardinals. It looks like we'll have some more economic development in the next few weeks here in St. Louis. First of all, I'd like to thank the Jefferson County Growth Association and Jefferson College for hosting us this evening, for hearing me and also my fellow candidates. I would like to at this time also thank Representative Frame and Representative McCarty for their service in the service. Unless you've been there, you don't really understand what you learn until after you leave the service. Behind every successful business person, every proven leader, and certainly behind every victorious candidate, there's a support or team of individuals committed to the same ideas, goals, and principles as we are. I'm fortunate to have a great team around me and an outstanding supportive family by my side. My wife, Kim, is running kids around tonight. We've been married 21 years. My son, Matthew, is 16. My daughter, Emily's here this evening. She's almost 14, she wants me to say, and Sarah, who's 11. They've been great help on the campaign, and they've enjoyed going door to door. While going door to door and attending long lists of community events for the last several months, I've been asked 3 simple yet consistent questions. Dan, why are you running? Why should I vote for Dan Shaw? What can I expect from Dan Shaw once I'm elected? Let's handle the first question first. Dan, why are you running? The answer is always the same. It's because my kids, your kids, and their kids deserve better than what we're getting today. They deserve better job opportunities, better employment opportunities, better education, and a better economy to live in. What do I mean by better jobs? My opponent just made mention that I've supported right to work. I don't believe I've ever taken a vote in the Missouri House, but I look forward to that vote, and the vote would be against right to work. People should have a choice of where they work. It shouldn't be dictated by government officials where they work. So yes, I do not support right to work. We need family sustainable jobs, full-time jobs, not just more part-time jobs. In the 113th district, there's entirely too many part-time jobs. We need more full-time jobs. Jobs that don't require long commutes to other counties. We need local, family sustainable jobs. I mentioned a better economy. What is a better economy? Everybody has a difference of opinion on what that might be. Mine is in an environment where people decide where the money goes, not the government. A community has a good economy when they have a sense of growth and a sense of being able to accomplish something. The feeling that I can achieve more than the generation before me. And if we don't change our ways in Washington, D.C., and in the governor's mansion in this state, we're going to lose the ability to succeed what the generation did before us. I want to make sure my kids have the same dream I did, to do more and be more successful than my parents. What do I mean by a better education? We need a system that prepares our children for life, as well as higher education. A system that allows and encourages teachers to teach and students to learn. A system that focuses not just on learning, or focuses on learning, just not test results. The original idea behind Common Core of having a baseline for all high school graduates was commendable. However, this is a good example of a good idea spoiled by excessive government intervention. I feel that local school boards should retain control over school districts, what they teach, and how they teach it. I'm also a strong supporter of holding everyone accountable in the education process, from the administration to the teachers to the students, and finally, the parents as well. All these segments need to work together to create a successful learning environment. The second most important, or second question I was asked, why should we vote for Dan? I think it's three basic things for me why you should vote for me. I'm a proven leader. I have experience in public service. I'm an effective communicator. Proven leader. Sean made reference to the grocery industry. Absolutely, I too was a member of the 655 local union. I learned a great deal working the front end of a grocery store. You learn the true meaning of customer service, listening, and hearing what the customer has to say. I've led the grocery industry, whether it be in the St. Louis area or the state of Missouri, for over 16 years. And we have worked with 655 to ensure that your wages continue to go up and are protected. I've received many awards for outstanding leadership. My experience in public service, as was in the introduction, I've served the United States Air Force, and I'll never forget serving alongside the brothers and sisters that made the Air Force and won the Cold War. I'm very thankful for that. I serve on the Windsor C1 School Board. School boards have been getting hounded quite a bit, but you haven't heard Windsor in the news a whole lot. Our most recent bond issue, on time and under budget. We increased learning scores, increased ability for kids to learn with the highest technology available in the classrooms. Teachers were caught up in pay, and we increased reserves. I don't know of another school board that has done that recently. I was president of the PTO, president of the church. I'm an effective communicator. I believe I have the ability to take an idea or vision and make it reality, the ability to properly express one's feelings through words and actions. And I believe the best communicator is well-versed in listening and in talking. The third and equally important question I received is, what am I going to do when I'm elected? I know I'm short on time, so I'll go through this quickly. JFK has a quote, "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer." Working in the grocery industry, I've learned that there's two sides to every issue, and sometimes they're both right. The eggs never go on the bottom, they always go on the top. We need to make sure that we keep the people of our community, our city, our state at the top of our list of what to do. I will protect the life of both born and unborn. I'm the only endorsed candidate by the NRA. I will ensure that the Purple Heart bills, Purple Heart license plates are not required. The 113th District, Jefferson County, and the state of Missouri deserve a leader who is committed to finding solutions to problems that have eluded those who have held this office before. I ask for your support on November 4th. Thank you, and God bless America. Thank you.
All right, I'll ask the candidates for the 114th District to come forward, please. And this will be a familiar-looking race, a repeat of 2012. Our Republican candidate tonight is Becky Ruth. She's a former teacher of the Festus R6 District. She's now a realtor with RE/MAX, Best Choice in Festus. And as I mentioned, she was also a candidate in 2012. So please welcome Becky Ruth.
Good evening. First of all, I too would like to thank the college, Dr. Comiskey. I'd like to thank the Jefferson County Growth Association, as well as KJEF, J98, at MIMO Info Radio for being here, hosting us, and making sure this is broadcast out to those that couldn't be here tonight. You know, I don't have a long, written out, formal speech, a lot of words on a paper, because that's what that can be, just simply words on a paper. I think it's important that you hear from me without reading a speech so you know who I am, what I'm about, and where I stand from the bottom of my heart. I'm Becky Ruth. I'm married to my husband, Don, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight because he had to work overtime. He's a member of the Carpenters Union. So he had to do what it takes to work hard and to take care of our family this evening. That's what our background is. We are working class people. We have worked hard all of our lives, and we understand the struggles that working class people face every single day. I have 3 children, and I have 4 grandchildren. 4 grandchildren that are alive. The 5th grandchild is one of the reasons why I'm here this evening. Brady Allen Cunningham. He was born in 2008 with a very rare genetic disorder called Krabbe disease. We didn't know it at the time that he was born. We didn't find out till he was 4.5 months old, and by that time it was already way too late to be able to do anything but provide him palliative care until he finally passed away 10 days before his first birthday. That little boy taught me more about courage, humility, love, and passion for our fellow man than anything else in the world. He lived such a short life, but he touched so many lives. He inspired us to make sure we went out there and we passed good legislation in his name, the Brady Allen Cunningham Newborn Screening Act, so that now all children in our state are tested for this horrific disease. It's estimated that we're able to save about 20 children's lives a year with the bill that was passed in his name. I worked very hard on that bill. I testified in the House Health Committee, in the Senate Health Committee. We saw it through all the way to the end to make sure that no other child in our state had to suffer and die needlessly. So I got a really good taste of what it was like in Jefferson City throughout that whole process. I understand what it's like to take a bill from the beginning, to form the language, to work with the CDC, the FDA, to work with both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republican alike, to get that bill passed into law. That's what really spurred my passion into wanting to step up and do more, because I saw the possibility. I saw the possibility that each of us have within us to make a difference, not just here in Jefferson County, but throughout our state. Jefferson County is also very, very important to me. My family's been here for a long time. My great-uncle Charlie served in World War I, was one of the first men killed from the county in World War I, and yes, has American Legion Post 253 named after him. My grandpa Harry was a worker at Pittsburgh Plate Glass, along with my other grandpa Beckham. My grandpa Beckham helped plant some of the trees that you see growing along Mississippi Avenue. So our family's deeply rooted here. We've seen what it's like for Jefferson County to be productive. When Pittsburgh Plate Glass was in its heyday, it helped build our Twin City area. When it shut down, a lot of jobs were gone. People were left without work. They were left with no other thing to do besides go to St. Louis and try to find work. Now, if you notice, our highways are crowded in the morning going to St. Louis. They're crowded in the afternoons coming back. Why? That's where the majority of jobs are. We need to work to bring jobs back here to Jefferson County. Have you noticed, even in our state and our country, we don't manufacture a lot of things. We've got to get back to bringing manufacturing here. Bring it back to Missouri, bring it back to our county, so we can provide the good jobs for our working families. I was a teacher for 25 years. I taught at Festus High School. I understand the challenges that our children face. I understand the challenges that our school districts face. I've served right there on the front line. I'm a strong voice for education to make sure we fully fund education, to make sure we're putting the emphasis on student learning, not on learning how to take a test. Our children are not going to go out and become professional test takers. It's time we put the emphasis back on education, back on our local school districts where it belongs. our local school districts, our parents, our teachers know how to best educate our children, not the state government, not the federal government. You know, a lot of times you're going to hear politicians say, and we've heard it already tonight, I. I've done this, I've done that. Look at me, look at me. Where is the we in all of this? Isn't it time that we bring politics back to representing the people? It's about us, it's about the people, and we put the we back into this. We start serving. That's what a state representative is supposed to do, is to serve their constituents, to be there every day for them, to show up for everything, and be their voice in Jefferson City and work together with their constituents. It's time that we get back to our roots. Serving in the legislature is not about a job. It's not about a career. That, I truly believe, that is not what our forefathers first meant. It wasn't so that you could have a job. It's to serve people. I have a long history of community service. I'm about out of time. I'm going to ask for your vote on November 4th. I will make sure that we work together and we represent people. Thank you.
The Democratic candidate for the 114th district is incumbent T.J. McKenna. Before he was elected to public office, he was a field appraiser with the Jefferson County Assessor's Office. But while in office, he serves on the agribusiness, tourism and natural resources, transportation, and veterans legislative committees. Please welcome T.J. McKenna.
I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight, especially the college for hosting us, all the sponsors, the radio, and a special shout out to Comtree real quick. Thank you for letting me be a part of that 40th anniversary last Friday. Comtree celebrated 40 years, and here's the 40 more. I'm State Representative T.J. McKenna, and I represent the 114th district. The 114th district is is made up of Crystal City, Festus, Herculaneum, Mappaville, Peevely, Hematite, and other surrounding areas. I've had a great time over the past 2 years representing you in Jefferson City, and I look forward to continuing my journey. Community involvement plays a big role in my life. It has been a privilege serving so many people, and I'm blessed that I get to wake up every day and help make somebody's life better. I'm proud to say that I recently was awarded Legislator of the Year for Constituent Services. We need to take care of our own and give back to the community more than we take from it. The Meals on Wheels program, which is located over at the Quad City Senior Center in Crystal City, has had a major impact on my life over the last 2 years. Being able to deliver meals to homebound citizens has put a lot of things into perspective for me. It has further strengthened my beliefs that have been instilled to me by my family to take care of one another. I'm so happy to be part of such a great family, and I'm proud to be a McKenna. I'm honored to be I've heard that I'm running on just my family name, and I want you to know that I'm honored to be part of this family because we have given back so much and we have built that reputation that you can trust. I know trust is a name that you don't want to use and associate with politicians, but our family has really done a lot, and I could not be more proud to be a part of that family. I take this attitude with me when I'm in Jefferson City, and I want to give you a pretty jaw-dropping example really quick. Missouri, like Sean Faust had mentioned, is the only state in the entire country that allows for unlimited campaign contributions and unlimited lobbyist gifts. I stand here today to let you all know that I am the only Jefferson County elected official that has not taken a personal lobbyist gift this year. The only candidate. Just to put that into perspective, there are 197 legislators divided up between the House of Representatives and the State Senate. There are only 15 of us that haven't taken any personal lobbyist gifts this year. Folks, these numbers are scary, and we really need to change something. I can also claim to be the only area legislator that refuses to raise money while in Jefferson City from January till May. I made that decision because I'm there to represent the community, not further my own interests. Too often in today's climate, people are more interested in 15 minutes of fame than a lifetime of meaning and purpose. because what is popular is more important than what is right. And until we change this attitude, not just in Jefferson City, but also on a daily basis, the state will suffer because things won't get accomplished. Just take a look at the partisan gridlock in government today. It is always someone else's fault. No one seems to ever want to take the blame for anything. In order to make the dream work, you must have teamwork. Working together will improve the lives of all Missourians. I have reached across the aisle many a times and voted against my own party to help better the state. It has been great working with all these Jefferson County legislators, and as Representative McCarty had mentioned, we seem to just work together. I don't know what it is. It might be the water or south of the Merrimack. I just don't get it, but I'm friends with every single one of them. Elaine, you've been a great asset to me, and I thank that. One thing I will be working on next year is rewriting the Missouri Returning Heroes Education Act to ensure that every soldier who serves our country gets an opportunity to receive reduced tuition rates at public post-secondary institutions. I've had the privilege of serving on the Veterans Committee over the last 2 years, and it's been very special to me. Along with State Representative Elaine Gannon and John McCarty, we have heard so many heartfelt stories, but there is always more we can do for our veterans. They have made the ultimate sacrifice to protect not only our freedoms we enjoy, but they also sacrifice their lives so we can be safe from threats overseas. We need to take care of our soldiers and give every returning soldier the hero's homecoming they deserve. In closing, I would like to stress that each day is a gift, and we need to start treating it as such. As long as negative campaigns continue, we will stay divided as a country. We all need to come together and stop this nonsense. People are sick of it, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. I lost 2 very important people in my life this year, and it's been very hard to come to grips with it. The world lost an icon and a true gentleman, the late Ron Casey, whose spot I was able to take in the legislature. I couldn't ask for a better role model, and it's really been tough to get things going without him. I also lost my father just a couple months ago. And I mention this because it's a reminder that we aren't going to be around forever. We don't know when our last day is going to be, so we need to start embracing the idea of working together, not focusing on putting each other down. I will continue to live up to these values, and it has been a dream come true to represent such a great community in Jefferson City. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 4th, and I thank you for your time.
All right, we'll continue on with the Jefferson County Growth Association Candidates Forum here at Jefferson College. We'll now move to District 115, if those candidates will go ahead and come forward. Our first candidate tonight is Democrat Dan Darien. He's an employee at the Jefferson County Juvenile Office and was a candidate for this seat in 2012. So please welcome Dan Darien.
Good evening. My name is Dan Darien, and I'm a candidate for state representative of the 115th District. I've lived in this district for all my life, and I'm raising my 3 children here. This district will always be my home. For the past 18 years, I have worked in public service as a deputy juvenile officer with the Jefferson County Juvenile Office, working with delinquent and troubled youth in service to our community. I decided to run for this office because, like many of you, I am frustrated with government and the state of politics these days. But when faced with frustration, we can either give up and just accept things as they are, or we can work to change things into what they should be. We must remember that this is our government, and ultimately we control it by getting involved or electing those that share our same ideas of what government should be. Government must work to find real solutions to real problems and do what is right for all Missourians, rather than focusing on extremist issues. Tonight we were asked to speak about what we would do if elected, and when considering this, all I could think about is the often empty promises we get from politicians before elections. Most of these things promised by politicians they cannot achieve on their own. So tonight, I think it would be more fitting to tell you the things that I will not do if elected. The first thing that I will not do is accept gifts and meals from lobbyists and special interest groups. In this year's legislative session alone, lobbyists spent nearly $700,000 in meals and gifts to current legislators. While most of us have had to cut back on spending, eat more meals at home, and pack our lunches, our legislators are being treated to steak dinners and tickets to Cardinals games. Missouri, as said before, is the only state with no limit on the amount of gifts and campaign contributions that elected officials can receive from lobbyists. I believe that eliminating, or at least limiting, this influence is the key to restoring good government to the state of Missouri. The only people who should have any influence on elected officials are you, the people who elected them. The second thing that I will not do is support legislation that is designed to unfairly put more money into the pockets of those whose pockets are already full. This year we saw tax breaks and tax cuts that unfairly favor the wealthiest Missourians, corporations, and business owners, while the rest of us were asked to approve an increase in our sales tax to repair roads and bridges. These fiscal policies of favoring a privileged few while asking the rest of us to pay more and more need to end. If anyone deserves a break, it's the majority of Missourians who, despite working hard every day, still often have to live paycheck to paycheck. The focus should change on supporting the rest of us, like increasing our minimum wage so that working families can keep up with the ever-increasing cost of living, and strengthening our middle class. Until this happens, our economy will continue to struggle. This year, we also saw legislation meant to weaken the rights of working people. My father was a union carpenter, and his union made sure that he received a fair wage, good benefits, and safe working conditions. The Republican majority in our state house pushed an anti-labor agenda this year, and will most likely do the same next year if they maintain a veto-proof majority. For those of you who belong to a labor union and are considering sending a Republican representative back to the state house, you need to reconsider your decision. You know as well as I do that until we pick up more Democratic seats, we will continue to see right-to-work, prevailing wage, and paycheck deception legislation. Another thing that I will not do is jeopardize our children's future by cutting funding to an already underfunded education system. We need to make this a priority here in Missouri. To do this, our government needs to get out of the way of teachers and educators and let them do their job. Putting unnecessary restrictions and too much emphasis on testing hurts the educational process. The state should support school districts and help them when they are struggling, but allow them to maintain local control of their curriculum. We must also make college more affordable for our young people so they do not start out already in debt before they even have a career. There's also a need to expand job training so that young people are trained to enter the workforce in a field that they choose. A well-trained and well-educated workforce is one of the best ways to attract new businesses to the state of Missouri. And finally, the last thing I will not do is compromise my own values for the sake of party politics and partisanship. I'm a pro-life Democrat who will work to protect the life of the unborn, and I am also a gun owner who will support sensible legislation to protect our Second Amendment rights without jeopardizing public safety. Government should do what is right for all the people of Missouri, regardless of who or what party will get credit for it. I hope this has given you an idea of what I stand for and what type of representative I will be if given the privilege of serving for you. Remember that if we continue electing the same people, we will continue to get the same results. I myself am not satisfied with these results because I know we can do better. If you feel the same way, I would appreciate your vote. God bless you and thank you.
Republican candidate for District 115 is the incumbent, Elaine Freeman Gannon. She's a former teacher in the DeSoto Public School Districts, and while in the legislature, she's assigned to the Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities Committee, the Issue Development Standing Committee on Missouri Ports, Veterans Committee, and Ways and Means. Please welcome Elaine Gannon.
Just a couple comments before I say what I came to say this evening. I'd like to make a comment on what Representative McKenna said about how well the Jefferson County legislators get along and work together. That is really a true statement. And he said, well, maybe it's in the water. Well, I don't think it's the water, TJ. It's just the right thing to do. Now, we might disagree, okay, but we really do a great job of working together. And then I just want to mention that I am one of several Republican state representatives in the House who does not support right to work. Okay. So with that said, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening and tell you why I'm seeking my second term as state representative for District 115. My district includes the southern part of Jefferson County, the northern part of St. Francis County, and a small section of St. Genevieve County. And District 115 is one of the most rural districts in the state of Missouri. I am a retired school teacher. I taught 32 years at DeSoto, retired in 2007. I'm married to Dennis Gannon, and we have 2 grown sons, Andrew and Jason. So my reason to run for a second term is based on a desire to continue my service to the citizens of District 115. I went to Jefferson City with education as my main platform, and that has not changed. I still want to be the voice for the children in Missouri and also for the children in my district. I believe I was very effective during my first term. In 2013, I voted no on a tax cut bill, which was House Bill 253, even though the majority of my fellow Republicans voted for it. I had serious reservations concerning this bill's impact on the funding of our public schools as well as colleges and universities. Additionally, I voted against overriding Governor Nixon's veto of House Bill 253, despite the fact that most Republican representatives supported the override. In the end, 253 did not pass. Also, I helped to make sure that tenure stayed in place. In this coming election, Amendment 3 will be on the ballot. Amendment 3 aims to do away with teacher tenure. I'm working hard to see that Amendment 3 does not pass. A lot of teachers are very concerned about their retirement funds. And I always tell them when the teachers come to the Capitol, I will do all I can to see that teacher retirement monies are protected. At the end of my first year, I was awarded the Distinguished Legislator Award by the Missouri Community Colleges. This was a result of my work of helping to get 253 defeated in 2013. Also, I am proud to say that I am endorsed by the Missouri State Teachers Association, the Missouri National Education Association, and Better Schools for Missouri. I continue to stand strong on protecting the right to life. During this past legislative session, Representative Kevin Elmer from Nixa, Missouri, sponsored House Bill 1307. 1307 amends the current waiting period for having an abortion from 24 hours to 72 hours. The Democrats said it is a real insult to women to have to wait that long to make a personal decision. The Republicans argued that a longer reflection period could only help women make the right decision. Representative Jeannie Riddle from Mocaine said on the House floor, "It is an opportunity for young women to say, wait a minute, I do not want an abortion. I want a chance to give a child a chance to live." At the end of the day, Representative Elmer said the bill was about protecting life regardless of how it was conceived. The final vote in the House was 117 to 44 to override the veto and a 27 to 7 override in the Senate. And I must say, several Democrats crossed the aisle and voted to approve House Bill 1307. So, I'll also say that Missouri Right to Life has endorsed me. Preservation of our rights and prevention of our government from meddling in the life of my family and in my home continue to guide my work in Jefferson City. The right to keep and bear arms in my family has been an issue that I will continue to defend, and I am endorsed by the NRA. It has been an honor to represent the citizens of 115. I take my votes very seriously. The people of my district sent me to Jefferson City, and they expect me to make votes that are in their best interest. Over the past 2 years, I have learned the ins and outs of the legislative process and served diligently on numerous committees. During my term, I was voted freshman class president by my peers in the House of Representatives. I am the Women's Legislative Caucus Treasurer and Freshman Legislator of the Year for Advocate of Children and Family. With this knowledge and experience, I am eager to return to Jefferson City and continue the job of serving and helping the people of my district as well as of the state. Thank you.
All right, we'll now ask the candidates for the 118 district to come forward. This is a Jefferson County Growth Association Candidates Forum here at Jefferson College. And we're in the second of 2 forums where we're hearing tonight from some county, state, and federal candidates for office. Our first candidate for the 118th district is Republican candidate Mike McGurl. He has been a candidate for the House of Representatives previously and is currently the collector in Washington County. Please welcome Michael McGurl.
Hello, it's good to be here. I want to thank Jefferson College for hosting this so they can view the candidates before the election on November the 4th. Well, my name is Mike McGurl, and I'm a candidate for state representative for District 118. I am running because I think it is time for our district to have a voice in the conversation being had about the most pressing issues in our area and state. I was raised in Old Mines. I graduated from Potosi High School. I moved back to Potosi in 1984 after graduating from the College of the Ozarks. I am married, and my wife Diane is with me here. We have 3 daughters. We attend St. James Catholic Church, and I'm a member of several civic organizations in the area. At the School of the Ozarks, I received a degree in business and accounting. I passed my CPA exam in 1986. I have operated my own business for over 30 years, and I have served as Washington County Collector for 6 terms. In my capacity as Collector of Revenue, I have learned firsthand the importance of good government practices. It is, in part, because of this experience with county government that I have learned how important it is to have capable and competent people in office. That is why I decided to run. My decision to seek the office of representative has also been based on my experience as a small business owner. I know the challenges of maintaining a business and how especially hard it can be in a slow economy. We need a representative who has first-person knowledge of the issues facing our small businesses, who will work to cut through the government red tape that is often time-consuming and costly. Our small businesses are the backbone of our community and of our state, and I'm proud to be endorsed by the National Federation of Independent Businesses, Missouri's leading small business association. While working at Chrysler, I was a member of the UAW, Local 136. And when attending the College of the Ozarks, I was a member of the AFL-CIO Grocery Workers. These memberships taught me the importance of hard work and the power of a group of people working together for a common purpose. While serving as your representative in Jefferson City, I will always be a strong voice of the worker and their families, and will always speak out on their behalf. I am 100% pro-life, and will always champion the rights of the unborn and the elderly. I am 100% pro-Second Amendment rights, and I will also fight back against any regulation attempting to be passed down by the federal government and aimed at limiting the rights of responsible gun owners in our state. I will represent our rural family values without compromise because I believe that they are that important. While serving as a collector of revenue, I was able to use my knowledge and experience to operate the collector's office in a fiscally responsible manner and to be innovative in offering new services. Two of my major accomplishments was the implementation of the online lookup of personal property tax for licensing and the ability to pay your taxes online. The fiscal integrity of the office has always been maintained by keeping the operating portion of my budget to less than a $5,000 increase, with the exception of wages and benefits, since 1991. I mention these achievements because I would like to convey to you my sincere desire to represent the citizens of this district with the same dedication and hard work that I have given to the collector's office. I have the ability, the knowledge, and the experience to support small business owners and working class families. I will fight for less government intervention in our lives and will work to reduce taxes, and I will always uphold and defend the Constitution. My name is Mike McGurl, and I am asking for your vote and support on November the 4th. Thank you.
All right, the Democratic candidate for District 118 is the incumbent, Ben Harris. Before joining the legislature, Ben was an employee on the family farm and general manager of Raintree Country Club. But while in the legislature, he serves on committees including appropriations, agriculture and natural resources, downsizing state government, emerging issues in agriculture, Missouri sportsman issue development, small business, and special standing committee on small business. Please welcome Ben Harris.
I first want to recognize Ray Kaminsky and Jefferson College, along with all the sponsors, and thanking them for putting this on today. It's an honor and privilege to be here. I've always enjoyed my job as a representative. I always believe in representing the people. As being I think the last representative to go for the evening here before we move on, several things have already been said, but I'll go over a few more. And a little bit about myself. I was born and raised on our family farm in District 118. I graduated from Grandview High School in 1995 and then went to Jefferson College, got my associate's degree here, and used the 2+2 program to get my bachelor's in business administration. I worked through Raintree Country Club through high school and college. Then I worked for United Van Lines for 2.5 years as a collection analyst. I then came back to Raintree and took over as general manager. So when it comes to running businesses, I was a general manager of a country club, and I was born and raised on a farm, and that's a small business right there. You talk about running a small business, try keeping a small family farm going in today's economy. It's not easy, you got a lot of stuff going on. I represent District 118, which covers southern Jefferson County and northern Washington County. I'm running for my third 2-year term. Due to term limits in Missouri, you can only do 4 terms and then you're done. One of my top priorities has been ethics reform. Every year I have sponsored and co-sponsored legislation to reinstate campaign contribution limits. On my 2014 legislative survey, 88% of the respondents supported reinstating campaign contribution limits. I know several people have talked about it in the past here tonight, about how Missouri is the only state in the country that allows these unlimited campaign contribution limits and lobbyist gifts and special interest gifts. We need to be representing the people, not lobbyists in these special interests. We need to take the for sale sign down out in front of the Capitol and start representing the people again. We had campaign contribution limits. The Missouri voters overwhelmingly put them in place. And we had them until the last day of session in 2008 when the majority party voted them out on a near straight party line vote. And we need to get that back in. I'm not the only one that files legislation. There's a lot of good legislation out there filed every year to reinstate campaign contribution limits. And every year it goes nowhere. It never gets a hearing, they won't talk about it, they won't even bring it up. And it's time to change. I also want to talk a little bit about Medicaid expansion. Several people have talked about before. And one of the main reasons I support Medicaid expansion is my district supports it. I had it on my 2013 district survey, and it came back at right at 60% of my district supports it. There's over 300,000 Missourians that lack any kind of health care right now, and we're denying them that right now. The Missouri Hospital Association says there's around 700 people per year that are dying and will die every year until we expand Medicaid just from lack of services. I want to talk about a little bit of opposition to Medicaid expansion. The main opposition has been that the federal government can't afford it. And that's a good argument. I'll give it, that's a good argument. But 1/3 of our budget already comes from the federal government. We get over $8 billion a year from the federal government every year. If your opposition is that the federal government can't afford it, then we shouldn't take the other $8 billion a year that we already receive, which would bankrupt every school, every senior center, medical position, everything would be bankrupt. I'll talk a little bit about tax credits. We give over $600 million a year in tax credits to big corporations and developers. Now there's good tax credits out there as well. There's benevolent tax credits for food pantries and pregnancy resource centers. But the vast majority of these big tax credits go to big corporations and developers who don't even use the tax credits. They sell the tax credits and pocket the cash. And I guess that creates a few jobs for some lobbyists and special interests, but that's about it. I think we need to be representing everybody, not just picking winners and losers by giving certain individuals tax credits and not others. Helping constituents. One of my top priorities has always been working for the people and representing my district. I get phone calls every day with questions and concerns from Medicaid issues, food stamps, to their electric bills, phone bills. And a lot of times people just don't know where to go. They don't know who to ask. And I can direct them if it's a county issue, is it a state issue, is it a federal issue, what we need to do to help these people. In my district, I think that's very important. I get phone calls every day and they're looking for help. I was talking a little bit about my endorsements. I'm the only candidate in my race to be endorsed by Missouri Right to Life, Better Schools for Missouri, National Education Association, American Federation of Teachers, and the National Rifle Association. If you consider yourself to be pro-life, pro-gun, pro-family, pro-education, you have one choice, and that's to re-elect State Representative Ben Harris. I appreciate everybody coming out this evening, and I'll stay afterwards. If anybody's got any questions or concerns, I'll feel free to answer them. I appreciate your support, and vote on Tuesday, November the 4th. Thank you.
Well, I don't think I would be overstating the case if I point out the fact that the state senate race in Jefferson County is one of the more highly watched, closely watched races in all of the state. You hear a lot about it in the legislative blogs, and we're lucky enough to have two very familiar faces in the race, and we'll be interested to hear what they have to say tonight. The first candidate is the Democratic candidate, Jeff Rorda. Jeff is a Democratic member of the House of Representatives, representing District 113. He was first elected to the chamber in 2012. Rorda, well, last elected in 2000, Rorda served the House previously, representing District 102 from 2005 to 2011, and he served as minority whip. His professional experience includes working as Chief of Police City Administrator for the City of Kimmswick, Human Resource Manager for Gateway Ambulance Service, and former adjunct instructor in political science at Jefferson College. Current legislative committees include crime prevention and public safety, downsizing state government, elementary and secondary education, freshman bipartisan issue development, rules, and utilities. Please welcome Jeff Rorda.
Thanks, Doc. You forgot to mention that I enjoy sunsets and long walks on the beach. My name is Jeff Rorda, and I want to be your next state senator. Jefferson County is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. This is a place my wife Nancy and I and our 3 daughters call home. You see the very best of people in Jefferson County, but Jefferson City is a very, very different place. Our state capital is broken. It looks more and more like Washington, D.C. every day. Partisan gridlock, special interest influence, and corruption define much of the legislature. I've spent my entire adult life serving this community. As a volunteer firefighter, as a 911 dispatcher, a police officer, an undercover narcotics detective, a police chief, and finally as a state representative. I've fought to make Jefferson County a better place, a safer place. I passed legislation cracking down on drug dealers and internet sex predators. I sponsored Jessica's Law, calling for a minimum 30-year prison sentence for repeat child molesters. I worked across the aisle to secure funding for the Jefferson County Port. I led a bipartisan coalition to pass the Manufacturing Jobs Act, which has created thousands of new jobs here in Jefferson County and across Missouri. I fought to get more funding for our local schools and to keep college tuition affordable. I've worked hard to ensure that workers get a fair wage and that our seniors can retire with dignity. I fought corruption from City Hall to the state capitol. As a lawman, I risked my career to report corruption at the highest levels of my police department. As a lawmaker, I sponsored legislation to end the culture of corruption in Missouri, the only state in the country that allows unlimited campaign contributions and unlimited lobbyist gifts. My opponent has attempted to distort my record as a decorated police officer. He and his supporters have attacked me for defending the police response in Ferguson, and for my part in a charity to help Officer Darren Wilson pay for his medical and legal bills. Meanwhile, my opponent rakes in contributions from special interest groups receiving 2 campaign checks for $150,000 each. $150,000 each. And he's battling 2 ethics complaints himself, one for using political campaign funds to pay for repairs to his personal vehicle. He's received lavish gifts and large campaign contributions from the insurance industry, then turned around and voted against requiring those very same insurance companies to pay for breast cancer examinations. He also went along with a handful of wealthy ranchers who were pushing for legislation that the Missouri Department of Conservation said could end deer hunting here in Missouri. He even voted to raise taxes on seniors by doing away with the circuit breaker that keeps thousands of retirees in their homes, and just minutes later voted to spend $50 million of our tax money to renovate his office and other state capitol offices. These are not Jefferson County values, folks. These are not my values. That's why I'm endorsed by former state senators Ryan and Bill McKenna. That's why I'm endorsed by Sheriff Glenn Boyer. That's why I'm endorsed by every education group, labor organization, and police organization that is endorsed in this race. Folks, you're about to hear from my opponent, given the past record, a distorted story about my record in the legislature, about my record of public service to this community. You'll hear a distorted record of my pro-life voting record, which I'm very proud of. You'll hear a distorted version of my record on the Second Amendment. My opponent recently sent a letter out to the community saying he was endorsed by the NRA. It's not true, folks. Talked to the NRA this week. They've decided to stay neutral in this race. I'm asking you to help me make Jefferson County a safer place, to make Jefferson City a cleaner place, and to make the state of Missouri a better place. I'm Jeff Rorda. I'm asking for your vote on November 4th. God bless you and your families, and God bless our community. Thank you.
The Republican candidate for Senate District 22 is also a very familiar face. Representative Paul Whelan is a member of the Missouri House of Representatives representing District 112. He was first elected to that district chamber in 2010, and previously he represented District 101 from 1994 to 1996. Representative Whelan's professional experiences include working as a territory manager at NFIB, sales manager at AMI Warehouses, and owner of Benderman. His current legislative committees include downsizing state government, economic development, financial institutions, insurance policy, where he's vice chair, joint committee on public employee retirement, issue development standing committee on Missouri ports, where he was the chair, Missouri sportsman issue development, and oral health issue development. Please welcome Representative Paul Whelan.
I believe I am the last person, am I not right? Oh, you have more, okay. I'm not last then. First, I want to thank Jefferson College and Jefferson County Growth Association for providing this forum. My name is Paul Whelan, and I'm running for state senate because Jefferson County deserves to have a senator who shares their values and will make Jefferson County their top priority.
I am the best candidate to reflect those conservative values in the Missouri Senate. My opponent claims to be a moderate in this race, and I don't have any issue with that. In my time in Jefferson City, I have consistently voted with our shared conservative values in mind. That's why Missouri Right to Life has endorsed me as the only effective voice that will stand up for innocent life. That's why the NRA, where I don't know, I'll go off script here for a second, I don't know where you came up with, we sent out a letter saying we were endorsed. We've never done that because I know the NRA is not endorsed. But what they have done is they've given me an A grade, while my colleague has only managed to earn a C. I'm also proud to have the endorsements from the Missouri Chamber, the National Federation of Independent Business, Farm Bureau, and the Missouri Cattlemen's Association. I was proud to vote earlier this year to override the governor to enact the first tax cut in almost 100 years. My opponent voted for it and then decided to vote against it. Not everyone's going to agree with every vote I make. However, the votes I take are based on conservative principles and is what is in the best interest of all of our citizens, not a select few. I don't vote on a whim or for what is politically expedient at the time. Unlike my opponent, I show up and make the tough votes. That's what people want and expect from their representatives. We have some serious issues facing us in our state, and my opponent and I have very different opinions on how we address those issues. On education, we must stop President Obama and the Washington, D.C. bureaucrats from taking over our public schools with their Common Core scheme. Unlike my opponent, I fought this liberal takeover at every step and will continue to do so. We need a new approach that values local control and puts dollars directly into classrooms. We need teachers, administrators, and parents who are brave enough to take a stand and break the tired old model that the bureaucrats defend on a daily basis in Washington, D.C. and Jefferson City. We need more legislators to stand up to the special interest groups that are more concerned with lining their pockets with taxpayer dollars and protecting a broken system than educating our children. On ethics reform, while my opponent will bring forward false attacks that have been thoroughly rejected and discredited by the Missouri Ethics Committee, or Commission, I do support common sense ethics reforms that make campaign contributions as transparent as possible and end the practice of unlimited lobbyist gifts to legislators. We need to stop the revolving door of legislators that immediately leave office and cash in as lobbyists. It should be illegal for a state representative to be a paid political consultant. And finally, elected politicians should not be paid to lobby while serving in the legislature. My opponent has done every one of these. That is why I'm fighting to change the culture in Jefferson City from a system of corruption to one that favors taxpayers and business owners. As your next senator, just like my time as your representative, I will be focusing on creating economic opportunity for our county. My interest will be doing whatever we can to attract good-paying, family-sustaining jobs. The development of the ports here in our county have huge potential to develop those jobs. That's why I made it my highest priority to learn everything I could possibly do to aid in that effort. We are making progress. In the last 2 fiscal years, the state of Missouri appropriated about $1 million to this effort. Compare that to the last 20 years in which our reports received less than $150,000. I worked with the legislators across the state to start and to chair a House committee dedicated to studying Missouri ports and how we as a state can better support them. What I have learned is impressive. When Missouri invests in their ports, often private dollars that follow are 10 to 20 times what we appropriate. These dollars turn into those good-paying, family-sustaining jobs. I have a good working relationship and get along well with other elected officials because I've earned their trust by doing what I say I'm going to do. As part of a supermajority in the Senate, I know I can accomplish more for Jefferson County than my opponent who would be stuck in a superminority. As your next state senator, my focus and my efforts will continue to be what is good for Jefferson County. I will not be distracted by events going on in St. Louis City or St. Louis County. This is where I live, work, raise my family, and go to church. This county is my top priority. In November, I humbly ask that you go to the polls and vote for the true conservative in this race. I would be honored to continue my work in the Missouri Senate to represent your values and promise that nobody will work harder than me to bring new economic opportunities to Jefferson County. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to ask our last two candidates, one for District 2 and one for District 8, to go ahead and come up to the table as we get ready to wrap up our program tonight. Appreciate all of you who have stayed with us through the program. We've heard a lot of information about a lot of different offices and a lot of good information about what the future of Jefferson County looks like, so we appreciate you staying with us. We do have two candidates who are running for two different federal offices tonight. The first candidate is Arthur Lieber. He is a candidate from the Democratic Party for U.S. Representative District 2. That's currently the seat held by Ann Wagner. Although he's not held political office previously, he has worked in education in St. Louis, Missouri for 45 years, from public schools to charter schools. He co-founded the Citizens Associates nonprofit organization and the Crossroads School. He also writes for the Occasional Planet blog. Please welcome Arthur Lieber.
Thank everyone for this opportunity. I got into the race because for a number of years, Democrats have not been putting up really viable candidates to run against Ann Wagner, and before her, Todd Aiken running for Congress from the 2nd District. I really, as I first thought about this back in 2010, and that year I did run, not too successfully. But anyway, at that point, we were looking for somebody who had name recognition and who wanted to run and present the progressive point of view. No such luck, so I went to Jeff City again this past March, filed, and I'm happy to be running against Ann Wagner, and I'm happy to be giving citizens of the 2nd District a real opportunity to make a choice. Ann Wagner is very conservative, and I respect her for sticking with her values. I'm very comfortable being a progressive Democrat. We've talked somewhat tonight about campaign finance reform. That's something where I'm talking the talk and I'm walking the walk as well. Running for federal office, I'm taking no donations greater than $10.10. You may think that's odd, but I think if we're going to take big money out of politics, then we have to act in a way that represents that. Why $10.10? Because that's the proposed federal new minimum wage. It's a low budget campaign, and I think that in today's world, it's possible to run a low budget campaign. We need more citizens to be more inquiring and to be more educated. And I think that, with, with the internet, you can virtually run a campaign. You could run a campaign for maybe $100 for virtually any office if citizens gave a damn, and said, I'm going to seek out what that person has to say. I'm going to go to their webpage. And by the way, if it's all PR, if it's all BS, that's not satisfactory to me. I need to hear what this person really believes. And I think with my website, lieberforcongress.com, you have that. Some of the views that I have may not be particularly popular with some people in this audience. I'm pro-choice. I believe that a woman has a right to make choices about her reproductive life. I think that it's absurd to have government interfering and telling her what is right or wrong with deeply difficult moral issues. I think the Second Amendment has its place, but I think we're a much safer society if there are fewer guns that are present. So I support any and all reasonable legislation to curtail the availability of guns, those that are used to commit crimes. I think that it's part of what we do in living in a civilized society, is that we try to take a way out of our society those things which lead to real dysfunction within our society. I realize that crime involves a lot having to do with socioeconomic conditions, with psychological issues, mental health issues, but I think that we need to approach it in a variety of ways, including limiting the access to guns. When I talk about reform, a different kind of campaign, I also would want to be a very different kind of representative. You know, I've been trying to get a debate with my opponent, Ann Wagner, and she has repeatedly told the League of Women Voters that she's too busy for a forum, for a debate. And I find that interesting because as a representative in D.C., she worked 4 days in September, 0 days this month, but she's too busy. She's too busy. One of the things I'd love to see would be for Congress to earn its pay, to do the work. I went to college in D.C., and I loved cutting classes and going down to the Capitol and hearing the hearings, hearing interesting speakers come and present information about issues with which they were very knowledgeable, very conversant. And I would really look forward to the studying part of being a member of Congress, to whatever committees I'd be on, having people come in and give the pros and the cons, and to be able to ask questions. I also think that Congress needs to be reformed to become much more democratic. To me, it's absurd to have a Speaker of the House who has the ability to put the kibosh on whether something comes up for a vote or not. I think that members of Congress ought to be able to stand up for what they believe in or don't believe in, and that whether it is the Speaker of the House or the chairpersons of the committee, that anything which is of import where somebody wants a vote, there ought to be a vote. That's democracy. I mean, if we in this room, you know, if we weren't sure what we wanted to do to raise the temperature, to lower the temperature, to give us more light, less light, whatever it might be, we'd have a vote, right? Well, I don't know why in Congress they can't do that, except for very archaic, self-protecting rules. And I would be a force in Congress to change that and to try and have it as a working democracy the way our founding fathers and mothers wanted it to be. I support a full employment economy, and what do I mean by that? I mean that as we do our economic planning and we have all kinds of variables that we can plug into the planning that we're doing, I would go with full employment as being issue number one. That if it means that we're going to diminish the amount of outsourcing to other countries, so be it. If it means in some cases we're going to have less automation because we're going to need more people who need jobs are going to be able to work, so be it. If it means that we need to bring back some of the New Deal programs that helped us as a society and put people back to work and gave them dignity, let's do it. Let's do it. On health care, I support Medicare for all. I believe that we can save costs in health care if we get rid of the 20% profit margin that insurance companies are making. I don't like the idea of anybody making money off people's poor health unless that person is providing services as doctors and nurses and other medical technicians do. I favor decriminalizing marijuana. I'm not real big on it. I had bad experiences with it myself. I don't like that stuff. But I do think that it's kind of idle, a useless thing to do, to go around trying to nail people for having marijuana. And the last thing I want to say is science. I think most of us probably took science in school. Some did well, some didn't do too well. But I really support empirically based science. Okay, what does that mean? That means like climate change, okay? I'm going with the science, all right? That's where I am, and I thank you very much for this opportunity.
All right, and again, this is the Jefferson County Growth Association Candidates Forum. If you like what you're hearing tonight, we encourage you to join our association. And remember, a lot of what we fight for on behalf of Jefferson County is in our one plan, one voice argument that we make to legislators throughout the year. All right, our final speaker tonight is a candidate for a Democratic candidate for District 8. That's the seat currently held by Jason Smith. Barbara Stocker has not previously held political office, but did graduate from West Virginia University with a degree in biochemical engineering and has worked as a medical researcher with Purina and Monsanto. Please welcome Barbara Stocker.
Okay, first, I want to thank the college and the Jefferson County Growth Association for hosting this event and all the other sponsors, and thank you so much for coming out on a baseball night. I'm Barbara Stocker. I'm the Democrat running for Congress in Missouri's 8th District. I'm a retired scientist, not a biochemistry engineer. I have a master's in biochemistry. I worked in medical research at WashU. That's when I came to Missouri. I've lived in six states, but have lived over half my life in Missouri, the last 14 years in Jefferson County, but I like it well enough that I want to stay here the rest of my life. Is that good enough? After I worked at WashU, I went to the corporate world in Monsanto and Ralston Purina. I've also done retail sales. I've been a dental assistant, a tax preparer, and I've also been unemployed, so I can relate to the many unemployed in the district. I was born to a working family. I benefited from an excellent public education, attended a university that we could afford with my parents working and me working, and graduated unencumbered by debts. That doesn't happen very often today. The district has seen job losses, businesses closing, towns dying, and people slipping into poverty. I place the responsibility for this wreckage directly on Congress, who could have done a lot but didn't. This has been the most unproductive Congress in history. So I saw a need and a challenge and took the plunge to try to make a positive difference. Remember Nancy Reagan's drug policy? Just say no? It didn't work. So the Republicans turned it into their congressional policy, and it still doesn't work. Congress has said no to the jobs bill, equal pay for women, unemployment benefit extensions, lowering interest rates on student loans, raising minimum wage, and food for children. In addition, in the name of deficit reduction, Congress enacted billions of dollars in budget cuts to federal agencies that affected all of our lives. Worker furloughs and layoffs for air traffic controllers meant longer waits at airports. Head Start program not only cut our children out of a good start for education, 70,000 working families had to find alternative daycare. Teachers have been losing their jobs, and education is suffering. Education grants have been cut, causing greater student debt, or students just giving up on going to college altogether. Food safety has taken a hit. CDC estimates each year roughly 1 in 6 Americans, or 48 million people, get sick. 120,000 are hospitalized, and 3,000 die of foodborne illnesses. Yet only 1% of our seafood imported from Asia, where it may be processed in horribly unsanitary conditions, is inspected. Seniors are faced with Meals on Wheels cuts. Secret Service has been compromised. National parks, research, veterans have all taken hits, and on and on. In addition, these cuts ripple through the economy, causing further job losses in other areas and have other consequences. We cannot cut our way to prosperity. Social Security and Medicare are the most profitable and popular successful programs ever passed by Congress. They have kept millions of seniors out of poverty and bankruptcy, yet they are under attack from the right. Conservatives want to privatize Social Security and gamble our retirements in a risky stock market. They want to switch Medicare to a voucher system. No, these programs work. I will be a champion for Social Security and Medicare and fight them, keep them sound and working. So isn't there another way? Shouldn't we invest in the future of Southeast Missouri and our nation by building more infrastructure, roads, buildings, ports, national parks, federal facilities? Shouldn't we invest in our education and develop citizens and workers ready to face the challenges of the 21st century? I attended graduate school under a grant from the National Science Foundation, and I know I've paid that back many times over, not only in my taxes, but in the contributions to research and the companies I worked for. Shouldn't we invest in research to invite ideas and innovations to go forward and build new businesses? All these things grow the economy. That would create greater revenue and solve our budget problems. We know it's possible because we had a surplus under the Clinton administration. The Roosevelt administration was able to pull the country out of a devastating depression with works programs and job programs that helped people so they could get on their feet. After the World War II, the country invested in education with the GI Bill and infrastructure with the Interstate Highway Bill and grew the economy up to prosperity and ability to pay off that massive debt. When I drive around Missouri, I would see thriving towns instead of dying ones, booming businesses instead of boarded up ones, and new jobs for workers, families, and communities. We need a forward-looking Congress that can make this happen, not a backward Congress like the one that caused it. We need to replace the just say no crowd with people with growth-minded ideas for our future. We need to end the gridlock, work across the aisles, learn to compromise, and put our country in a growing upward path. Elect Barbara Stocker for Congress November the 4th. Thank you.
Let's give all our candidates one more round of applause. Well, again, on behalf of the Growth Association, Jefferson College, and really all the voters of Jefferson County, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for listening or viewing our forum. But most importantly, remember, get out and vote on November 4th. Thank you for your support and good night.